So in this video, I'm going to tell you why I believe that it's more applicable for a man and a woman to have a certain age gap whilst dating and just being together in a relationship. Now, it really all comes down to, hold on, this flies fucking everywhere near the trash. We'll go somewhere in the middle, but and hopefully I don't sneeze also, you know. But hey, it really all just comes down to the male and female life goals in life and the certain things that both the genders desire in their age, depending on the age that they are. Now, in terms of the experience in a sexual sense, as we know, relationships, all that good stuff is still very sexual. It's romance, sexual thoughts, puberty, stuff plays a factor. It's only logical that you'll have thoughts of wanting to reproduce. It's innately embedded within you. You have the desire to want to reproduce, the desire to want to make an offspring, have children. This is part of human evolution. But the thing is, you need to realize, in terms of sexual thoughts and just ambition, women tend to mature a lot quicker in that sense. And I think I have a theory as to why. I believe my theory, and it's been proven many times through just everyday life and existing, and just being in multiple settings, whether that be school, seeing things from a social media aspect, and also just navigating real life. When a woman is about 14 years old, I mentioned 14 in particular because when I was 14 years old 5 years ago, I noticed that it was when the girls really started developing physically, whether that be breasts, ass, waist, face, hips, or just overall in general become a lot prettier as a person. And naturally, what comes with that is more attraction from men. Obviously, being from the people within their year group, and also in a digital sense. As we know now, we live in the digital age, we live in social media age. An age where women are getting more attention than ever because their beauty is being valued for it to an extreme extent, which is, it's a far cry from what it was back in the day, where the women, and this is how I believe it should, and it was like this, and it still should have been like this, but it's been twisted in the modern day due to feminism. The woman should be the one chasing and obsessing over the man as the man focuses on his goals. Whereas in the modern day, man is worrying about what the woman is doing rather than chasing his goals, to which would have attracted that woman anyway. It's messing things up. And I believe the reason why women, they kind of know what they want earlier on, that they know they have this God-given purpose of, oh, I want to have children. I want to have a child. Now, I'm sure they may have other ambitions also, but every woman is pretty much very similar. Let's say if nothing goes according to plan, well, at least they have that get out of jail card, in the sense of another man will come to save me. For a man, it's different. Yes, we may have the desire to I want to have a kid one day, but before you get to that point, what value do you need to create to yourself with yourself to the point where you're even able to attract a woman and get a kid? This isn't like the 60s, the 90s anymore, the 1800s. Things have changed. You don't just need a job anymore. That's not the requirement. It's not as simple as it was before now, especially in this modern day age. And unfortunately, if you try to apply those same principles, just getting a job. Now, I'm sure you could attract a woman, but it probably won't be as high quality as it once was in the past, which is very, very, very unfortunate. It'll probably just be a mid woman, and hail in comparison to the top quality women and the standards that are applicable today in the modern day age. And so when you're in a high school sense, this is going back to what I was talking about when being age 14 back in 2020, the women were getting more attention than ever, whereas the men the same age were still pretty much boys. And I believe men have to work for their value. I don't think we're really born with value. You kind of have to build yourself from the ground up. Hence why the youth males tend to be looked down upon by the majority of society and don't really start being recognized as a man until they're about the age of, I don't know, say 25 years old, something along the lines of that. Or some form of manual effort needs to be put in. You don't have this innate gift which is just already unlocked like females do when once they hit a certain age. So for women, it's the beauty there. Society heavily places a value on a woman's beauty, which they do have pretty much as a girl. But this is really accentuates as a teenager. And, she's getting options like she's never got before without having to put any form of work. Let's say, worst case scenario, you could have a really shit personality. But if you're pretty, if you still have the body proportions that, men find attractive and, are used for mating purposes, you'll still attract someone. That's just how the world works. And so when you're a teenager, you're going to be having men throwing themselves at you as a woman. As a young teenager, their teens, their late 20s especially, when they really start going into their peak. And their early 20s also, right? The early 20s is really the age where women tend to be the most beautiful in terms of age. Now, they're still beautiful in their mid-20s, but the body clock is starting to run out. I was just starting to realize I need to get a child, And also, the late 20s is when they start to hit the wall. This is where most women start panicking because they realize that their sexual market value, which is the attraction, that they have towards other men, start to plummet. Now, this isn't to say women in their late 20s and 30s aren't attractive. I'm sure they are, but they will never be as attractive as they were in their early 20s and teens. I'm sure there may be exceptions to the rule, but in our channel we like to generalize things. And so when you're a woman, you're gonna have all this experience of just hundreds of thousands of men coming up to you. You'd think you're a deity and you're based with, the amount of compliments you're getting. I can only imagine what it's like from a woman's behalf. Imagine not putting zero work and all these men are praising you for something you naturally have, to which all women have. And it's not a woman's fault. It's not even me attacking them. I'm just explaining the human experience that women get. And hey, I've seen family members too. Like, this just naturally comes with being a woman. It comes with it. And they've also experienced the same thing. I'm not going to say any names or anything, of course. But I also know close relatives who, naturally are going to experience that type of thing, the attention. Whether that be in a physical, real life sense, or that may be in the digital sense. Hence why it's really easy. It's like a scapegoat, I'd say, in a way. In that regard of being a woman, since you have the beauty. And many men value it, even the rich people. Hence why some countries, even famous people, they would hit up regular looking women as long as they're beautiful enough. Because that is what society and us as men value in a woman. This isn't to say that, women are solely based on their looks. But it's also a major factor, And that's just how us men operate. So when you're between the ages of about, let's say, 18, so really 18, it really starts at 14, but I'm going to say 18 just to keep it legal and safe. 18 to about mid-20s, you're going to get the most female attention of your life. That's really how it works. So they've got all these men coming up to them. They can reject, and all these men come up to them. The woman has the ability to reject constantly, all these different types of men, all these types of personalities, from the top tiers to the low tiers. That's going to boost her confidence, And after so many, approaches, whether that be online and offline, she's going to have an idea of what she will want out of life. So by the time she's like 21, she already knows in her head, I want to have a kid. They're damn near ready. Honestly, when they hit 25, I'd say that's where women really start panicking. And most women have probably settled and have children already by then, or probably married. But as a man at like 21, it's fuck off. Like, as a man at like 21, it's like, damn, you graduated school 3 years ago. You don't even know what the fuck you're doing. You're probably still broke, which is absolutely normal for most 18, 21-year-olds. And it's like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I never really pulled women in high school or anything like that. I mean, even if I did, it wasn't to the extreme that the woman did. I mean, and even if I did pull a few, Well, I know there's more out there, and I didn't get to experience that high quality like the woman did by just purely being beautiful and receiving the text on social media. Because of the experience in terms of sexual attraction came at different periods and different ages with the man and the woman. It's only natural for the woman to grow up quicker in that state, keeping that in mind. Now, I'm sure if the men were to receive the same quantity of attention, well, I'm sure they were both mature at the same point, but things just physically don't work like that, and that's because men and women are valued on different things in a societal sense. Men aren't just valued based on their looks. They're valued on their personality, their character, their charisma, their humor, their ability to provide, their leadership skills, speaking skills, so much more than just beauty. Hence why you could be a handsome man at 21 years old, a contrast to your 21-year-old beauty queen. And you as a handsome 21-year-old man, you can still be broke. Women will still see you as a boy. It's just how the game works. The game is different. The game isn't the same. And hey, it's not even me complaining. It's just me telling you how the world works, how the world has always been. So let's keep getting a lot of flights. How the world has always been. I'm just relaying the message to you to tell you why I personally believe men and women cannot have, well, they can, but I would personally prefer not to have a woman, to get with a woman my age, because believe it or not, most men do find women in their early 20s attractive, from about 20 to 23, believe it or not. If you want to widen that horizon, just 20, that is a fact. That's a fucking fact. For men, you don't really peak till you're like 30, honestly. When you're like 20, as I told you earlier, you're not valued on the beauty, so fuck your good looks. You don't have the life experience. Women don't find you attractive. You're probably broke and you don't have enough money. Even if you do have a good personality, it's like, yeah, but most women have a limited window. Even if your personality is good, let's say you're both the same age, right? Yes, I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule, yeah. But I'm talking for the majority. Let's say you are the same age, okay? You're the same age, you're both 20 years old. And let's say success takes long for you. Maybe it takes you like 15 years to become successful. The woman is probably like, yeah, I'll ride with you for like 5 years. After 5 years, you're still struggling, she's probably gonna bop. She don't want to bop, it's just our biological clock. It's telling her, yeah, I'm gonna go with a more successful guy who's 10 years older than you. What's she like? That's usually like the game is, man. That's what the game is, for the most part. Remember, I told you a few minutes ago how a woman will be at 25, she knows what she wants because of all the past options. I know for sure me at 25, I'm far from having kids. Absolutely not. That's all the more reason why I would not date a 25-year-old woman if I were 25. And another reason why I won't date a woman my age is because let's say you reach about 28 years old. For a man, 28, you haven't even gotten started yet, man. Your life starts at 30 years old. 30, man. For a woman, well, you're hitting the wall. And one thing women tend to do, and this isn't them, manly trying to destroy your life, but they are in a way accidental leeches. And I say this because, you get to a certain age, let's say you're above 28 years old, like I was saying earlier. For a man, you're just getting started. Your life didn't even start yet. You're on the come up to your prime. A man's prime starts at about 30 years old, because like I told you, men and women are valued on different things. So let's say from about age 18, you're pretty much nothing. You took 12 years of hard work, doing all the things that, are required to make you a strong man and respected in society. Now, after 12 years, that's more than enough. That's over a decade of experience of, hard work in the field of whatever industry you're in. It's no wonder why you ask a woman who the celebrity crush is. Most of the people who I speak about, they tend to be in their 30s. And I'm speaking from experience, many people in high school, whenever they talk about the crushes they like, I always search up the age. Oh, surprise, surprise, they're 30. All in their 30s, And like I told you, most men don't hit their prime till they're like 30. But the woman already had her time in the limelight. And she was most attractive. She knows what it's like to experience all that attention from other men. For a man, yeah, you may be experiencing a few, but you may, I say about 25 is when you the age where you just start attracting a few women here and there, but it's not to the prime to what it could be. Because you're not 30 years old yet. You don't really know yourself yet. You don't know what you're doing yet, right? But you would have the solution that you've entered your prime because you just started attracting the attention that you always wanted from females. So it takes a lot longer, in terms of just being valued. And let's go back to the story of just being the same age. When women do this thing, they'll try to push it on men to get married. I'm not telling you marriage is bad, but the man isn't ready, right? And when you're the same age though, the woman's like, she's pressuring you, like she's on it. Just try to push it onto you when she's at 28 because she's hit her wall. She's had her time. But the men, most men, they never got attention when they were younger. They're in scarcity. And then they start to fall in the trap of, oh, she's pressuring me. Oh, I'm never going to get pussy again because you never got it, so now you're in scarcity. But what he didn't know is he was going to get the pussy. If he put in more work, he was going to get more attention from women anyway. But he was in scarcity, stuck with that woman. And now when he's at the age, mid-30s, late 30s, when, men tend to be most attractive, he still loves his wife, but she doesn't look as good as she was before. And now she sees all of the other younger women eyeing him up, the type of woman that he couldn't get when I was younger. And he wants them now, but he's stuck with his wife. And now he wants to cheat. See every time. So with me, I can't do that. Hey, maybe date them, if they're the same age, but men and women simply have different life goals at different times. And yeah, that's my take.